Wait, I foresee that. Oh, hey, where's my headdress? Oh. I foresee that some among us will not be with us for very long. Yes, at least 2 of us will be gone within the month for writing workshops abroad. Amanda Liko and Joel Tan.
How did you know?
Wait, yeah, he told me. That's why you can't think of it. And thus we are very glad to have Joel Tan and his theatrical thespians present an extract of an emerging. I need a fancier word for play. What's a fancier word for play? Operetta?
Thespionics.
Huh?
Thespionics.
Thespionic? That is. Operetta! Tonight. Yes. Joel Tan, would you introduce your thespians?
Hi, thanks for coming. Okay, so the play that it's a play in progress. Fortunately or not, I've only got the first 2 scenes. It's called Troops. It's set in Singapore in 2055, and with me tonight are my how do you describe them?
Bravo.
Yeah, my Zabo. Actresses Wu Xuan and Yang Yikai.
I was conceived in the air. This is not to say I was conceived in an airplane. No. I was conceived in the kind of air that sweeps across nations, the kind of air that crackles in the silence of speeches being made, the kind of air that defines moments. As a sophomore women's studies major at Columbia University, my mother became a pro-choice activist in the final days of the 2020s when it became clear to the Americans, both red and blue, that there were real issues to fight about in the USA. Issues like healthcare and taxation and the environment and surveillance technology. And so abortion became less of an actual problem. On the day a woman's right to abortion was written into the federal law, in that breast-bearing, feminist air, in that fifth wave air in the summer of 2028, Union Square, Manhattan, New York, America, the world, I was conceived. I was conceived first as a thought, itself conceived as a shared glance. I love male feminists. And then as a caught at an after party. Pall Mall and Hugo Boss. And then there's a lowering of MGS and HCJC inhibitions. Is that organic sake? And finally in a raw fuck at the apartment of an experimental art collective in Brooklyn. My mother Martha felt that bump. She felt that bump in her otherwise hitchless road to the civil service. She felt it hard, and she knew what had hit her. At the age of 21, far away from home, realizing to that trimester every Chinese mother's fears about the big bad West. She saw me for what I was worth. An ethical dilemma. Investors saw me for what I was worth. A case study. Martha, write this. Put to paper the phenomenology of crisis. My grandmother, Glenda, over Skype, saw things crystal clear. You dare to abort her, Martha girl! I will disown you! And so my mother did not exercise her hard-won federal right to an abortion. You Johnny will marry that stupid bastard, okay? Or you bring the baby back home and raise it yourself. Don't you even think of taking your overheated politics out of an embryo? No, Martha, no! I don't care if you just think that it's a lump of cells. I didn't raise you to brush off responsibility as a theoretical abstraction. So I owe my life, in some sense, to my grandmother's NUS sociology professorship. She occupied a political position which always tempered something's philosophical difficulties with whether or not you could eat it. See, left to her own devices, my mother would have offed me and taken the whole womb out while she was at it. It's not that I don't love you, Esther. I hope you know that. It's just that, you know this, that I've always had other plans for my life, and you weren't one of them. And I have to admit that while I love you, it's not the kind of love that, for example,
I don't know, Glenda Papa or Mommy Drew has for you. It's called duty. You know what I mean? You're a smart girl. Duty. Like a soldier. You know, like Uncle Brendan when he went to Syria, you know? He didn't want to, that's what I mean. But if he didn't, he would have gone to jail, Esther girl. Same lah. If I had had my choice, I wouldn't have had you. But no point crying over spilled milk, right?
She was never a particularly cheerful mother. The baby, that is me, had several interesting consequences. The most immediate and unpleasant of those, apart from morning sickness, was that poor Glenda, on her trip to New York, discovered that my mother was majoring in women's studies and not political economy.
Women's studies is half-baked scholarship taught by folk singers and talentless lesbians. If I had known that you were a bleeding heart liberal as a child, I would have sent you to the UK instead.
She threatened to withdraw financial support until the situation was corrected, and so my mother became a banker, which she hated. The second consequence, I believe, was a phase of late 20s self-discovery which involved bisexuality, a highly evolved mistrust of men, an attendant and confirmed lesbianism, and a much gossiped about but committed relationship with a Singapore-born Korean lesbian activist called Shin Ju.
Death to the straight male stick!
Mommy Ju, my adopted lesbian mother. I've always suspected she was my mother's way of getting back at my grandmother, who was liberal and pro-gay insofar as it didn't involve her. But anyway, I raise the example of my birth because it strikes me now, here in Tan Tock Seng Hospital, in 2055, that I am a theoretical abstraction. One end of a bifurcated what-if story, and probably the shockingly different twin of a quantum Esther Lim somewhere in the multiverse. By shockingly different, I suppose I mean not vaporized into free-floating, free consciousness at the age of 2 weeks. I don't normally dwell on my survivor's guilt. But it's not that I'm dwelling on it now, but today I feel somewhat like my mother, as I imagined her in those first days. See, when Dr. Suram swept the M-ray scope over my belly and that spreadsheet of facts about my son appeared on the monitor, it became clear to me how motherhood must have felt to my mother so much like chess to a beginning player. Any game of chess is one predetermined permutation that expands out from the first, innocent move. We make choices about our children from the minute they're born, We make choices about our children from the minute they first conceive as thoughts. If we have a son, let's call him XYZ. And when they appear as a blob and statistics on a monitor, ideas become concrete. Rooms are painted, clothes are bought, decisions are made in vitro, as it were. Any decision is at any point in time abortive.
Esther, everything seems fine with the baby.
But what, Dr. Sivaram?
Oh, no, but nothing we can sort out, huh? All it is. Nothing to worry. We've located what we think is a pair of Garrett's alleles on the 244 chromosomes that code for some hormonal properties in males. But there's nothing we can correct with a highly specific radiation treatment.
Down syndrome?
Oh, no. Fortunately. Because there is no procedure for that yet. This is,
What are Garrett's alleles? Is it a disease?
Oh, no, nothing like that. How to say this? I don't like to use the term. It's highly controversial. But it might help you to understand it quite better. In some lay circles, it is called the gay gene.
Oh, Garrett's alleles.
That is what I said. Not to worry. I'm sure you're aware by now of the options that we have.
We? It's not your baby.
Oh, no. I use the term editorially, Esther. So option 1 is to leave the situation uncorrected. Option 2 is to go through with the procedure, which is painless, non-invasive, and has quite a flawless track record. So that is got a popular choice.
They have warned us in university ethics of the theoretically conflicted nature of gene shopping. Garrett's alleles, first isolated in 2015 by an English scientist, straight, of course, though while the term heteroposition is now the more academically acceptable word. He's singled out by my professor Eleanor Singh in the third seminar of a class called Subjectivity, terminology of choice.
So, right, the ultimate irony of the whole Jared dilemma is this, right? I mean, when I grew up queer in the 2000s, all the activists were up in arms about the word choice. Huh? They would say to the Christians, oh no, listen, sexuality isn't a choice. We were born that way. Lady Gaga, that was a huge thing back then. Lady Gaga fueled this line of thought with a song called Born This Way, which, as you know, is now the Pink Dot anthem. The politics of this were questionable, right? Is it more legit if it's not a choice? Huh? Shouldn't the right to queerness extend even to choice-making queers? And so, here's the hilarious bit about the Jared thing, right? Whether or not you grow up gay can now actually be a choice, just not yours. Life has a funny way of fucking us over, so to speak. You put that in your module feedback. So Yaston, you'd better confer with your husband.
I'm not married.
Not a problem, not a problem. You'd better just confer. Perhaps with legal counsel.
Lawyers? What for?
Oh, you know, it gets quite sticky. You want to indemnify yourself in case your child sues you in future.
Is that? What? You can sue people for this?
Well, the only precedent we have now is apparently a series of legal battles over circumcision. So we anticipate this might be, well, just in case. I don't know, the treatment is only 10 years old. Not a lot of 10 years old with, you know what I mean. Here is the documentation, you take your time. I'll check up on you tomorrow.
So here I am, at Tan Tock Seng Hospital, stroking my belly, being asked to make a decision which... See, I don't know. You'd think the choice would be easier, wouldn't it? Growing up as I did in a family such as mine.
Girl, you tell the doctor not to talk to me like an idiot. She spoke to me in a way that doctors speak to unschooled China people. Yes, she is good, very well.
You could tell her yourself, Papa.
I would.
What?
But for the fact that she probably thinks I am such an unschooled Chinese person, we do all look the same. So, how's everything?
Interesting.
Don't use that word, Esther, girl. You're far too smart for it.
Papa, my baby is gay.
Nonsense. There are no such things as gay babies.
No, Papa. The doctor said...
You cannot always trust this technology. When I was in the womb, they thought I was a boy.
Sound, Papa. This is a full genome scan.
Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, girl. I grew up when they mapped the bloody genome. I have taught courses on genomes. I know what a genome is.
Yeah. So, I have a gay baby.
There's no such thing.
They've isolated the giraffes.
Alleles. All of your newfangled biotechnology and suddenly everybody's a biological determinist. You read the Beauvoir, Butler, and that's just the beef.
Well, this is not the time.
There is always time for sociology. Babies are nonsense. One is not born gay. Huh? One becomes gay through an insidious process of club music, early and anal penetration. The baby's a boy?
It's a boy. They haven't found the lesbian gene, Papa, you know this.
That's because there is no lesbian gene, nor a gay gene. And what? I suppose they intend to insert some kind of newfangled laser into your womb and cauterize the baby's submolecular structure? What if the wind blows? Or he coughs, and then they take out the gene responsible for eye color? Can you live with a blue-eyed Chinese baby?
Papa, can you be serious? It's a serious question.
Do what your heart tells you. That's the only answer. Because your heart will always surprise you. And all your politics, no one really holds his politics in his heart.
What does that even mean, Papa? You don't have to be so cryptic all the time, you know. It's me, it's not some government think tank.
You know the story about how you were born?
Yes, I've been rehearsing it to myself.
And you know where I stand on this, huh? You don't get to make decisions about your baby. Nothing you do when you fulfill your biological destiny is a choice. The baby is conceived, you suffer. That is not a choice. The baby is born, it suffers. That is not a choice. You are compelled by the suffering of your baby to suffer for it. That is not a choice.
Suddenly you're a biological determinist.
I'm a Singaporean sociologist. I pick and choose between comfort and principle. Leave the baby be. If he grows up gay, whether by fluke of genetics or poor parenting, it's his problem, not yours.
With him growing up
Yeah,
gay.
that's what you say. If you actually believe that, you wouldn't ask me for advice.
Oh.
The hypocrisy in this room, so much hypocrisy. You think after all these years they would have invented a better way to deal with piss and bullshit? No! Yeah.
Where are you going, Papa?
To the Starbucks downstairs and then back to campus. I have a lecture to give.
Don't leave me alone, please. I haven't spoken to anyone sensible in days.
Go and consult the internet. I'm sure there's a lot of advice on how to square your beliefs and the smell of piss on your sheets.
Unsympathetic. My grandmother has never been sympathetic to bleeding heart liberals, whatever that means. She seems to believe that belief is a way of coping with loneliness. That it's easier to believe in the things that all your friends believe in than it is to question them. Her classic essay on the subject, The Sociology of Belief. Politics as social capital. It's reviled by most people who've read it, and sometimes I resent her for it. Like now. Choices. See, I've never been good at making choices. Maybe if I sleep on it and wake up weeks later, the choice will have made itself.